The year is now 2025 and the Speed Racing Network HairClub Truck Series 7th season is ready for its second half. We head out west as the Diamond in the Desert plays host to round 12 of 24 on the season. I am Emerson Arden, and Jonathan Byer should be joining us momentarily here in the virtual booth this evening, and we're excited to be bringing you live coverage from virtual Las Vegas, Nevada. And last time out, we concluded the 2024 portion of the schedule at the track dubbed as Too Tough to Tame in Darlington, Nevada, which was tamed by David Flanagan in a late race overtake on the ever-strong Andrew Harris machine there. And tonight, we will see where the cards fall. We'll find out who has the best odds to win the big jackpot the high-speed Las Vegas Motor Speedway has to offer. But here we are at the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway under the lights here to start the 2025 portion of the calendar. Glad to be back here and bringing you Speed Racing Network HairClub Truck Series coverage. And it's time to get to our starting lineup. And there it is up on your screen. It should say week 12 up there. But Connor Cunningham claiming the pole tonight here at Las Vegas. It's Jeffrey Vickery to his outside. Kyle Johnson, Matthew Greathouse make up row number 2. Joe Ruggles, a fantastic qualifying outing for the 96 machine of Joe Ruggles. Then Dalton McKinney will start 6th. Jason Green, then Andrew Harris, suffering the heartbreaking loss at Darlington just a couple of weeks ago. Kyle Spees and Michael Sidor will round out the top 10. It's Lane Doyle, then Jason Kratke, 11th and 12th, and we find our way back to row number 7. It'll be Bo Brady and Ben Park, 13th and 14th. James Shane Wolf will start 15th. Austin DeLong then in 16th. Last time out, the winner was David Flanagan, and he will start 17th. Daytona race winner Chris Luttrell will start 18th. Drake Carty in the 59 machine had a rough go at Darlington, involved in many of the early cautions. He'll start 19th tonight, looking to have a better start. Dylan Godinez will start 20th. 21st, we'll find Sean Merriman in the 18 machine. 22nd will be Sean Corcoran. 23rd, and Mike Duriad. Now, first timer here to Speed Racing Network HairClub Truck Series action. Sean Woodside, 24th. Spencer Brown, Corey Stahl, row 13. Wally Babb, Sean Long, row 14. Shane Ledoux and Scott Kalal will round out the top 30. Find our way back to 31st position. It'll be Daniel Park, and Adam Capps will start in 32nd position. And so that is how the 32 drivers who made it to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway way out west here in the nation, they will start and get tonight's racing action underway. Once again, I am Emerson Arden, bringing you live coverage from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway HairClub Truck Series racing action about to commence as the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety down in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Connor Cunningham, and green flag is in the air. Racing commences in 2025. In the back, and Joe Ruggles in trouble. The 8 of Matthew Greathouse in trouble as well, and the caution will come out. It is the first caution of the evening here at Las Vegas, and oh, so quickly we have to regather the losses here and see what happened here. The first incident of 2025, the first stoppage in action very early on in the going here. We'll take a look at what happened there, but we saw many a truck getting loose there off of turn number 4, and that's what the cold tires can do here in the desert, here in the dead of night in January. These tires not really getting up to temp, and these drivers all struggling with it. We'll even slow it down right here. You see there on the right side of your screen, Andrew Harris will get loose, but actually there in front, Joe Ruggles sideways in front of the field, and then I would imagine people are letting up here trying to avoid him. Jason Green has to take avoiding action down to the apron, and just everyone kind of scattering about, and Kyle Speed's trying to find a way past the 96, and he does. Sideways behind is Andrew Harris, and just as Ruggles was catching the truck, he gets caught by Matthew Greathouse there. And so really that incident could be much, much bigger. But looks like it's only going to be 2 trucks involved. You see Corey Stahl getting sent to the grass and a couple more trucks making contact behind. That's Austin DeLong. No, I'm sorry. That's Dylan Godinez in the 88 machine. And one other machine, actually Sean Woodside getting turned across the infield grass there. And the 99 of Wally Babb, the other truck, potentially involved there. But really the only trucks with damage in this incident, as I see we did not show you guys the replay day. You know what? It has been a little bit since we've had a good show here. But anyway, we will get you the replay here, and you'll just see it's Joe Ruggles trying to hang on to that truck, and he just comes back up and makes contact there with the 8 machine of Matthew Greathouse, and there on the right hand side are those trucks that I was mentioning. The only 2 trucks with damage, of course, the 8 of Matthew Greathouse, the 96 of Joe Ruggles. And so we will go and we'll get you guys one more good look and see what happened. Of course, we did see it live, but one more good look at what happened here between Joe Ruggles and that was the driver really struggling here. Now, a lot of people were struggling with the cold tires there, but Ruggles was sideways and then just comes up, makes just maybe even net-coated contact there with the 8 of Matthew Greathouse, and big-time incident there. Both drivers will be suffering pretty decent damage to start the race, by the way, there for those competitors tonight. And so we find our way back to the racing action. It's Connor Cunningham, who was the pole sitter, who led the first lap, and he finds himself now as the race leader. Kyle Johnson in the 48 machine to his outside. Jeffrey Vickery, Jason Green, row 2. Kyle Spees, Lane Doyle, row 3. Bo Brady and Ben Park, row 4. Dalton McKinney, Jason Kratke, the top 10. So working our first caution period of the evening here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we'll see here if we can maybe get another lap in the books here. Complete a green flag lap here. We'll try it again. And we still have 31 trucks running. Adam Capps never did take the green flag. And actually 30 trucks, as Matthew Greathouse is no longer competing. So 15 rows of Speed Racing Network HairClub Truck Series vehicles still on the track, still competing in tonight's event. And green flag back in the air. Racing resumes from Las Vegas. A much cleaner approach to the racing action there as these drivers get back into the racing groove. It's been a few weeks since everyone has been able to race against one another, but Connor Cunningham, the driver, taking advantage of the time off and coming to the point here at Las Vegas. Kyle Johnson, Jason Green, second and third, and everyone ripping and roaring their way around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 6 laps complete, working lap 7 out. The top 6 are single file, and double wide behind is Ben Park and Bo Brady. They dual battle. The 9 and the 17 machine, you'll see them dueling down the back straightaway. Ben Park with the high side, looking to use the momentum of the outside lane to carry that 17 truck forward. As Bo Brady down the inside now, really relying on the shorter way around the racetrack to get his nose ahead in the battle. But they continue to duel as they work their way around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Brady clears Ben Park, and near contact there. Maybe there was contact there. Jason Kratke bodies his way forward up inside the top 10. Dalton McKinney looking to make an appearance here. He looks to the inside. Maybe. No, he'll sit behind a 54 of Jason Kratke. And they are all packed up here from 8th on back 7th on back. Bo Brady leading the brigade of HairClub Truck Series vehicles. Kratky trying to work his way to the inside. He's still fighting off the 17 of bad parking contact. Bo Brady turned in front of the field, and they save it. Corey Stahl's gonna get turned sideways, and Sean Merriman is gonna get hooked around, and the caution comes out. Daytona winner Chris Luttrell in trouble, and somehow that was a huge accident that was not an accident. I mean, they were wrecking for a while. That was going to be a massive, maybe 20 truck pileup, and somehow the field does a great job of avoiding more in contact with one another, and only really 2 or 3 trucks get the worst end of this. So, of course, go back, we'll take a look and see what happened, but most of it was seen live. But Sean Merriman getting tagged out of nowhere. So up ahead, we did see the initial contact between Brady and Kratky, and then Merriman runs into the back of the 33, and Luttrell runs into the back of the 18, and I'm gonna guess Luttrell was also run into from behind, and that's why there was such a violent yank of the truck to one side. Sean Woodside also collected in this incident as well, and so we're gonna go back and see, maybe we can find an overhead view of what had happened to these drivers. We'll look up above the racing surface, and you'll see here it's the 32, the newcomer to SRN competition, Mike Duryea. Mike Duryea in trouble, making contact there with the rear end of the 00, and we'll ride on board with the first time SRN driver and see what they saw in this incident. On board the 32, sorry, that is Shane Leduc. On board the 32 now of Mike Duryea, and just they all stack up on the hood. Didn't really slow down enough for the incident, but that is right there the entire deduction for the caution. And so we'll find our way back to the live action here and catch up with race leader Connor Cunningham. Back out in front of the field, actually hasn't really left the front of the field. Here at Las Vegas, Connor Cunningham leads. Kyle Johnson, Jason Green, Jeffrey Vickery, Kyle Spees, Lane Doyle, Jason Kratky, David Flanagan, Dalton McKinney, and James Shane Wolf. And the lights are out atop the iRacing.com safety vehicles. So that means one more caution lap to go before racing will resume yet again here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And what a fun season it has been up to this point. We've had plenty of winners to this point of the season. Of course, Luttrell at Daytona, and in Rockingham we had I believe it was Kyle Spees, and just so on from there. I mean, for a while they were getting a different winner every week. I think the first 5 weeks of the season, Drake Carty emerged onto the scene as a very dominant contender, and now looks like everyone is kind of caught up in that deficit they had to him. And to this point, we still have 4 races following tonight left in the regular season, and then we have a, I counted an 8-race playoff still to come. So still 13, well, 12 rounds after tonight, 13 rounds if you count tonight left on the calendar, racing way into the middle of April here for HairClub Truck Series action. And the racing remains to be very, very competitive week in and week out. And so the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down on the pit lane to field in the hands of the 24 of Connor Cunningham as green flag in the air. Racing resumes from Las Vegas. 1 lap removed from the restart. It's Connor Cunningham leading Jason Green, and they're in a somewhat tight contested battle, but they are side by side for 5th. Kratky and Vickery. Vickery on the high side, Kratky down low. Vickery trying to clear. Kratky not having any of it. He'll send it down into turn number 3, trying to make the 54 stick. Vickery giving way, give us plenty of room. They'll be side by side up off the corner. Vickery holds 5th, still at the stripe, but Kratky not done yet. Side by side down in the back, you see the 47 there, Lane Doyle. He's working against the 14 of James Shainwolf. Some drivers who had a really competitive open to the season now. Shainwolf has yet to record a victory, I believe, to his name, so looking to get that done. And now newcomer to SRN, Mike Derriere, has hit the pit lane. So the on-track action continues. Cunningham still leads Green, Johnson, Spees, and Kratky then the top 5. Kyle Johnson closing the gap. Green nearly makes contact there as he tries to shut the door. So Kyle Johnson playing the aggressive game early here. Fastest lap of the day. Last lap went to the 14 of James Shainwolf. Ran a 30.35. And so Shainwolf trying to make something happen here towards the bottom half of the top 10. He's got speed in that machine. Now looks to climb his way forward. It's Sean Long in the 84 machine working over the rear end of the 47 of Lane Doyle. It's Long up high trying to get to that quarter panel sideways. McKinney saves that 46 machine. The baby blue and pink cotton candy 46 was very, very sideways there off of turn number 4. He saves that 46 machine, and the green flag still flies high above the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So racing action continues. And so Kratky. Oh, more trucks, many trucks sideways. This is going to bring out a yellow. 4 or 5 trucks around. Scott Kalal, Corey Stahl, Ben Park, and more in trouble there off of turn number 4, and it's the 3rd stoppage of action tonight. And this one was a big one. Daniel Park involved as well, so both Park brothers get tagged in this incident, and many a truck going around there off of turn number 4. Let's try to deduce what happened here. We'll find our way all the way back here, coming off of turn number 2. And so bringing you guys back into the loop. Cardi gets into the back of the 17 and then gets punted by Sidor, and there's just nowhere else for anyone else to go, and Ruggles takes a huge run there, and I don't know what happened with Kolov and Stahl there. We'll have to get another look at it, another angle, to see then what happened to the 23 and the 33 over back in the pack. But I would imagine it's all in reaction to the contact that happened between Cardi and Ben Park. So first we'll see what happened between the 23 and 33, and then we'll see the contact. So looks like behind Kalal actually gets run into from behind by Wally Babb, and then Corey Stahl tries to jam on the brakes to avoid it, and he had really no chance of that. So now we go back and let's see what happened between Ben Park and Drake Carty. And I don't want, to assume that there's been any, it's misdoing here, but, they were pretty deep into the corner. I would imagine Carty knew they were going to make contact at this point. Oh, man. Well, you see, it was a little itty-bitty tap, so absolutely Carty was not attempting to do that by any means, but he was trying to keep the nose in there. It was just very, very tight racing, and unfortunately just how it panned out. We'll have to take another look at it, of course, to make sure there was no, egregious contact. And so we'll take another look at it. This one we'll take up above and maybe a little closer, maybe a little arrow sideways, a little boop, a little boot, scoot, and boogie. past the 17, and of all the drivers to hit Ben on the way down to running order was the 7 of his brother, Dan. So big bro slides, little bro can't avoid it. They make contact, and so I want to take one more look at this incident and see the contact between the 23 of Scott Kalal and the, I presume, the 99 of Wally Babb. I mean, that was some heavy duty contact. So we'll see what happened here. So this is Scott Kalal a little deeper in the field, and you see Mike Dorea just coming off the pit lane. And I think Kalal maybe sees the incident, checks sub maybe because of the 87, and Babb just had no idea that was happening. Big hits there, big hits all around for the 17 and the 23 for sure. The 33 had a pretty decent hit, and unfortunately the 7 also a pretty decent hit in that as well. So we get back to the live action here is we're getting ready to get back to racing as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane, the field in the hands of Connor Cunningham. Green flag back in here, racing once again from Las Vegas. And the field very much fanning out, very much closing the gap on Connor Cunningham is Lane Doyle, and they'll be side by side for the race lead. Doyle up high, Cunningham down low. Cunningham has that white 24 machine planted down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Lane Doyle all over the tailgate. He'll dive down to the inside. They'll flip spots out into turn 3. There's now Cunningham riding high, Doyle riding low. Doyle trying to hold that 47 steady up off the corner. Doyle leads out of the corner. Cunningham big run. They'll be side by side across the stripe. Doyle leads the lap, and Shane Wolf shoving through the tailgate of the 47. He might want to take it 3 wide, and he does look to the inside of the 47. Cunningham retreats then to 4th or 3rd as Godinez now looks to the inside of the 24 machine. They're nearly 3 wide behind. Now Cunningham takes it 3 wide for the race lead. Inside 24, middle lane 14, up high 47. Now Lane Doyle is phased out as Shane Wolf clears to the lead. Cunningham wants to get on through, and here comes Dylan Godinez. Godinez down on the inside trying to make it happen. Kyle Johnson all over the rear end of Cunningham. Jason Green in there as well. And oh boy, the caution comes out. Jason Kratke involved in this one, and let's see what happened to the 54 machine. Oh man. Let the actions speak as Drake Carty leaves the racing surface, tries to rejoin the racing surface and cannot do so safely. And a massive catch fence impact riding the safer barrier was the 54 of Jason Kratke. Big time impact for the 54, who was running very strong early on up inside the top 10. Jason Kratke goes for a wild sky high ride across the Las Vegas sky, and we'll see now one more look at it, maybe a tower view if we can. And you'll see there getting the red 59 at Carty leaves the racing surface, tries to rejoin and does not merge back on safely, and just heavy duty impact to the outside wall for Jason Kratke. Gets, I mean, nearly to the height of the catch fence, then skateboards across the top of the safer barrier, the steel and foam energy resistant barrier that is there, and Jason Kratke for a wild ride early in the event here at Las Vegas. So my goodness. That will definitely put a premature end to the night of the 54 of Kratke. So pit stops occurring. Last time out, James Shane Wolf has made his pits. Actually, the top 12 had pitted last caution. This caution, Connor Cunningham leads green, Doyle, Godinez, Sidor, and more down the pit lane. So Connor Cunningham gives up track position for fresh tires. This time he comes out with, it'll be 6 or 7 lap fresher tires than his competitors ahead. So Cunningham rejoins the race in 12th, but the top 11 all pitted on lap 19, I guess with the exception of Sean Merriman, who is 11th. He pitted on lap 20, but James Shane Wolf, Kyle Johnson, Sean Long, David Flanagan, Kyle Spees, Spencer Brown, Jeffrey Vickery, Andrew Harris, Sean Corcoran, and Bo Brady, the top 10, all of them pitted on lap 19. And so they will have slightly older rubber to the 24 and company 12th on back. The lights are out atop the iRacing.com safety vehicle, and so we will get back to the racing action. We'll let the grip levels and the racing action speak for itself, as we are still just shy of the 1/3 mark here from Las Vegas. Actually pretty close to it now that I think about it. So yeah, I mean, we're about 4 laps shy of that 1/3 mark. So the restart will be with 3 to go and 1/3 left of this race. But the 4th caution, a big incident there for Jason Kratke, and the field size, not quickly, but is unfortunately steadily dwindling here. We started with 32 trucks, and 1 truck didn't even take the green flag, so 31 took the green flag. We're down to 26 competitors left on the racing surface. Now every driver is on the lead lap, so all 26 left in the race are still all competitive, or in the race, if you will. Everyone on back, not so much. Well, actually, everyone on back has left the race. So the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane. The field in the hands of new leader James Shane Wolf. Green flag back in the air. Racing resumes from Nevada. Accident there in turn 4, 6, 7 trucks, maybe more. Huge incident. Connor Cunningham, one of those involved, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, there is some heavy duty impacts there along the outside retaining wall in turn number 4. But looks like pole sitter Connor Cunningham, of all the hits, looks like he gets away with not too nasty of a hit. He should be able to continue, but my goodness, that was a big incident. And it was actually Cunningham, the truck that went around, and I would imagine it was because of the cold tires. And again, you're talking about, you know, very, very cold racing slicks in the middle, or not in the middle, but at night in the desert in January. Not the optimal racing temperature for these tires, and so Connor loses it all by himself in the center of the pack, and it's everyone trying to avoid it. And it was Godinez really taking the biggest hit. Oh my goodness, and what a shunt from Joe Ruggles, who qualified 5th in today's race, but that is going to put a big dent, if you will, in his race. My goodness. So we will get a look at it, but again, it was Connor Cunningham going into turn 3, expecting to have the same level of grip. By the way, he also had dirty air for the first time today. That's another factor to consider. But so first time in the dirty air of the field, and then just loses it on his own. It's Godinez gets ran from behind by, oh my goodness, by Corey Stahl, and it was nowhere to go for either Dalton McKinney or Joe Ruggles. And we're gonna get some onboards of this incident. My goodness, big impacts for both McKinney and Ruggles. And we'll look back from here. This is coming out of turn number 2, and riding on board with the 46 machine. This is Dalton McKinney in the McDinger's Cotton Candy machine. And so it was Jason Green, my apologies, involved in that instance. So, and then also the way he was caught there at the beginning is, now he did take a bigger hit there when Ben Park joined the incident, but the initial contact between Godinez and Jason Green and Dalton McKinney, not as brutal as what Joe Ruggles experiences here. My goodness, we're gonna ride on board with the 96 of Joe Ruggles into turn number 3 here at Las Vegas, and this was a big one. The incident happens, trying to avoid it, drops down to the inside of the racetrack, and then, oh my goodness, Dylan Godinez not holding the brakes, slides across the racing surface, and big hit for Joe Ruggles in the big red 96. Massive accidents today. I mean, and that will happen at a high speed mile and a half oval in Las Vegas, and we are now 1/3 of the way done tonight. It'll be 63 laps to go on the restart as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down in the pit lane, the field in the hands of James Shane Wolf. Green flag back in the air, racing once again from Las Vegas. Everyone makes it out of turn 4 in one piece, and racing resumes from Las Vegas, lap 34 of 95.
Looks like I'm just in time for the action here, Emerson.
Yeah, you are, JB. Welcome. All right, so it is James Shane Wolf, the race leader here, working lap 34.95. We've had 4 cautions to this point, and big battle here for second. It is Kyle Spees trying to fend off Kyle Johnson. The Kyle and Kyle show for P2. Kyle Johnson down on the inside, Kyle Spees on the high side. Spees trying to hold the 48 down. They'll be side by side down the back.
Las Vegas racy as always, one of my favorite tracks on the schedule just because of the variability you have and what line you want to run. Also, a little bit different weather conditions tonight. I don't know if that was talked about off the top of the show, but it is a little bit chilly out there in the desert this evening. So that definitely plays a little bit of factor in which line's going to be the fastest. And
battle for lead. Kyle Johnson to the inside. Tries to run up the inside of James Shane Wolf. Kyle Johnson trying to steal the lead away from the 14. Shane Wolf is going to fight hard. He's going to lean on that passenger side door. They'll be side by side through turn number 3.
Spees just lurking in the background as well in case one of these guys makes a mistake. He's going to be in the driver's seat, but fantastic battle up here for the lead between the 14 and 48.
How about Sean Long in P4? While the battle for lead does continue on, it's the 48 of Johnson trying to clear, but James Shane Wolf is staying put on that outside lane.
You see how even those lanes actually run here. That's what makes the racing here so exciting. The 14 will pull out on the end of the straightaway, but the 48 gets a much better entry in. They're going to be in lockstep for a while here unless one of them makes a mistake.
Big slide there for Shane Wolf. He'll lose a little bit of ground, but the outside lane, the progressive banking, JB, that just helps so much down these straightaways to keep you lockstep, as you mentioned, side by side, all the way around the track. Because even if you see there, Shane Wolf leaves the racing line a little bit there in the center of the corner, he still has the speed, the hill, the progressive banking to keep the momentum up into 14.
Yeah, and then on the contrary, you know, you're not giving the 48 the full amount of racetrack to run off the corner to carry his momentum off the bottom. So he's kind of choked off on the momentum going down the straightaways, and that's what allows the 14 to kind of get that little bit deeper run. But you know, speeds might have an effect here too. We don't talk about it much, but you can actually have a little bit of draft effect at mile and a half here in the trucks with how much drag they have. So if Speed decides to give one of these two guys a push, that might be the difference.
Absolutely, and now. Las Vegas has always been known to be a truck draft paradise, if you will, but the newer racing model that these trucks have, JB, it's not as packy, it's not as plate racy as we've seen in seasons past.
You see a little push there by Speeds to the 48, get him deeper in the corner. He's able to keep it up, but Lane Doyle's now throwing his hat in the ring up here. He's going to be outside of Speeds coming off the 2.
And Jeffrey Vickery making a 6-truck battle for the top spot here at Las Vegas. 55 laps to go, this time by the stripe here at the Diamond in the Desert. Shane Wolf trying to clear past Johnson, and he does. Shane Wolf retains the race lead here at Vegas, and now Kyle Johnson, the sitting duck, is Lane Doyle wants a piece of the action. Kyle Speeds, and they all file down to the inside lane. Now it's a battle for 5th then between Vickery and Sean Long, and they make contact down the back.
I think Shane Wolf just saw an opportunity to clear himself, and he knew he might not get another chance at it if he stuck there much longer. Did a great job, and he's going to drive away from it a little bit. So probably the faster truck there, and now that they're not side by side, you're going to see him leg it out. But I like what Lane Doyle's done here. As those guys were battling up front, he made a big closure to the lead, and now he's on the doorstep of position number 2.
Got a little worried there. Jay saw Joe Ruggles a little slow off the racing surface. Looks like he did make it to the pit lane. I believe you just missed it, JB, but Joe Ruggles, big hit there in the most recent caution. But, man, he'd had a great start. He qualified P5 tonight, Joe Ruggles did.
Yeah, and we've seen it, unfortunately, a couple times this year where a really fast truck in qualifying just gets the short end of the stick in the race, and that's the unfortunate reality of it sometimes. We've seen Kyle Johnson, who's running second right now, you know, qualify on the pole and not make it through lap 1 before this season. So sometimes it's just the unfortunate sequence of events that happens, but it looks like the field is kind of all coming back together as one long row. It looks like a little bit battle back there with Connor Cunningham in the mid-pack, but everybody's starting to get clumped back together here.
Well, that's one to watch, JB. Connor Cunningham was our pole sitter. He led the entire first 25 laps of the race. Most of the field did elect to pit, especially all the drivers around Connor Cunningham right now, all elected to pit on the lap 19 caution. So Connor Cunningham did so on the next caution, lap 26 caution. He did pit, which then put him into dirty air for the first time of the night. However, on the ensuing restart to turn 3, maybe as a result of, you know, the very cold track temp, not getting those tires heated up. Yep. And also the first experience of dirty air tonight for Connor Cunningham. He lost it entering turn 3, was sideways in front of majority of the drivers, and he gets away relatively clean. Big accident behind. So that Connor, I would imagine, did come back down to pit lane vac caution, maybe bolted on another fresh set, and he's now working his way up the running order again.
Yeah, I did catch a little snippet of that. I was wondering what the backstory was on that because I just saw the 24 sideways, but that answers my question. But how about the new look of the 24 this week? It's modeled after Dale Jr.'s new late model scheme that he has going on with the orange, white, and camo, and it's a pretty sharp looking truck. You give these guys a couple weeks off, Emerson, they come up with some creative things. I see quite a few different paint schemes out there tonight.
But not only that, you know, some drivers really bring the pace. You know, Sean Long, I think, would even himself be pleasantly surprised with a nice, strong top 10 run today. Joe Ruggles, a great qualifying run, a P5 today. You know, some time off, give these guys a little time to just kind of be with themselves in the sim and really get, you know, hit the hammer down and get a couple more weeks of practice for tonight's race, and somewhat pays off.
Maybe if you had the in-laws over for the holidays, you need a few hours to yourself, you go over to the sim, put a few hours of practice in. I can see that happening. And as somebody who drove on the service before and doesn't do it much anymore, I always found out I was the fastest and the best version of a driver myself just the more I was on it. So you give these guys a couple weeks that, not maybe they're off of work or whatever's going on, they have a little bit more time to practice, their racecraft is going to overall be better. And so I think that's part of what you're seeing tonight, especially with some guys who are having a very good run for how their season's gone to this point.
Absolutely. And so here we are here in the truck way out the racing surface. So that's Dylan Godinez's lap machine. He got into a couple accidents today. Everyone kind of scattering around the lap truck. Somebody gets the wall there. That's Spencer Brown then in the 71 machine. By the way, Spencer Brown inside the top 10. Good run for him. But now he's in trouble. Under attack from Dalton McKinney, trying to find his way through. Cartier and Cunningham also looking for their way past the 71 machine. They're going to get caught up here by Godinez. Trouble now as everyone tries to scatter to the inside of the 71, and oh boy, that could have been
that was sketchy there for a second.
Very interesting, yeah.
And you got to be careful with the front stretch here on Vegas. It's a D-shaped oval. It's got that long sweeping front straightaway that often you'll see guys dip below that white line because that's all fair game down there. And if you're not paying attention to how close a truck is following you down to that white line, or we've seen net code be a problem historically in that area, we've seen some large accidents come from that. And while you don't see that a lot on the restarts, you can see it at sometimes this point in the run because you're trying to chase that guy down there for the side draft, or you're trying to split the middle 3 wide. And if you cut it on the apron and the guy above you doesn't know you're coming back up, that can be problematic, as we've seen here in the past.
Well, JB, I was going to actually say Drake Carty, he would definitely be one to talk about using that excess apron. He did, leave the race surface trying to really get a run there on Kratky and kind of just came back up. I was going to say, what is the rule? You have to rejoin safely once you leave the racing surface?
Correct. Yep, that is how the rule is stated. So I'm sure admins have noted that incident. And
sure.
Are reviewing it to the extent that they need to, review it. Maybe they'll have discussions after the race to clarify to make sure. But yeah, that is the rule. That's fair game everywhere. It's not like the super speedway rule, but it is the responsibility of the driver that leaves the surface to rejoin in a orderly fashion, no matter how they've exited it. So even if you're kind of spun off into the grass, it's a kind of the expectation that you rejoin in a safe manner.
How about you talked about drafting, JB, right there down the front straightaway. Kyle Spees. Oh, Austin DeLong turned across, and somebody else goes around. Oh, Flanagan, McKinney, and Spencer Brown in trouble. The caution's going to come out.
He saw the 22 sideways at first, so he got some help into the corner. Could have been somebody that just had momentum.
Goodness.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Jason Green and David Flanagan come together hard, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened there. To my knowledge, the damage model does not have virtual oil down on the track after an accident, so that was not a contributing factor, but something had to happen there.
I mean, let's take a replay. Big. Yeah, that was big. Wow,
what it looked like is
entire sequence was insane.
Yeah, whoever behind the 22 got a run, I think, and it was just faster closure rate than I think the 22 knew. That was Flanagan that was behind him.
Yeah, so here we go. Big run. And then just comes back up trying to arc into the corner, right?
Yeah.
So DeLong saves it. McKinney right into the back, and there's Connor getting a piece of the action. Oh my goodness, Spencer Brown.
Somebody launched. That was Spencer that launched over the front of the 5 truck. And the 5 truck hasn't moved. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, he does move.
Oh, that one.
Well,
that one's rough.
It is Emerson, as you know, the expectation that if you are sitting in the track, you kind of stay there until the field goes by. He did have a little bit of a break there, but
maybe just misjudged how much time he had.
A couple more seconds. Yeah, exactly. That was big. That's ultimately probably going to end both of those gentlemen's nights tonight.
DeLong with a great save, by the way.
And the 5 has a right to enter the corner
a
little higher if he wants, but that was just too much, I believe. I think because you can't really ask the 22 to get much closer to the wall, and the 22's turn in the corner pretty naturally there for how you'd enter it, and that is a lick right there.
That's probably the biggest hit of the night. We saw Jason Kratky go
I was going to say that one was pretty massive, but I think that was more about air time. I think this one was the just the force of impact was quite large there.
Oh.
But Dalton McKinney has retired from the event. Seeing that come across the screen.
Well, right on board. Jason Green, I mean, so far off the field. Now, you know, part of this is also on Green, right? If the yellow's out, he's got to slow down, so, right? Like, Flanagan, yes, you know, should not have driven across
Green's
the racetrack.
Still out.
But Green now.
Out.
Now the yellow, now the yellow. Oh. He did try, man, but
yeah, and you can see how when you're coming around the corner, unless you have a spotter that's kind of telling you what's happening, you really can't see that far up.
That's true.
And if you're hauling the mail like he is, you can't just change lines, snap of a finger, you know. And you're not sure if he's going to go back up or down the track. You just kind of commit to one or the other, and unfortunately, he committed the wrong way. But that's also the expectation that the 5 would kind of sit there and wait for the whole field to come by. But yeah, you see him try to change direction. He got on the brakes. You saw the truck get sideways. But when you're going that fast, unfortunately, there's just nothing you can do.
It's that weird time, right? Like, yes, you know, if you're Green, you're saying Flanagan, you should have been watching your relative, right? But, you know, Flanagan's like, well, you know, you had so much time to slow down, right? Like, there's a lot to it.
And if you're sitting sideways on the track, you're not.
But
if you're sitting dead sideways in the middle of the corner, you're not really concerned about if the caution flag's already out or not. You're going to try to get the thing turned back around and going. So
right,
it's one of those racing situations there.
So that is going to be an incident I imagine gets talked about in post-race afterthoughts. But
everybody bolted on some fresh tires here, and we're ready to go.
You're right, everyone. Has pitted here on lap 53 as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety down the pit lane. James Shanewolf leads us back to racing here from Las Vegas. And everyone makes it out at turn 4 in one piece on cold tires. How about that, JB?
You know, sometimes it happens. It's 3 wide in the middle of the pack, though, so I don't know yet. But we're so far so good. And I think these guys are settling in a little bit. I mean, we had a break there, a couple weeks off. You know, they're going to be anxious to get back going, get back in some competition. But I think we're going to settle in here for a nice ending now that that's calmed down a little bit.
And I think everyone, they kind of know how the truck handles now. Everyone kind of knows what the tires are doing. Everyone knows what the dirty air feels like. So I think everyone just getting reacclimated to the elements, especially, right, for those guys who don't run any other leagues, right? This you know, might be their only league, and they did have just 2 solid weeks off of racing, right? Well, you know, some
and
leagues,
a lot of updates.
Yeah, and a lot of updates. You're right.
Service, so if you know, and yes, things only change slightly, but it does make a difference. So. Especially if you're not on the service a lot to get the feel for it. So,
and
then
maybe
a little jostly up here right behind the leader, and then we're focused on that pack a little bit further back.
Yeah, you're right though. Lane Doyle, the one on the outside, and near contacted.
He's leaning on him.
Andrew Harris, by the way, man. I mean, Andrew Harris. I know you weren't there for Darlington, JB. Andrew Harris, very, very fast at Darlington, as expected, right? But
yeah, one of his
late race overtake, late race steal from David Flanagan off fuel mileage, man, and that one wasn't triggering. 3 wide for second as Harris down on the inside, Johnson in the middle, Doyle up high, all behind James Shanewolf. Johnson trying to close the door on Harris, can't do so. Here comes the 22 of DeLong. JB, he was just sideways.
Wow. Well, I mean, he was sideways in the track, but he escaped with no damage, and
that's true.
Really helping him out right now.
He was just sideways like in 10th, and he's up in 5th.
It's how things can change so quickly. But we were talking about Andrew Harris. The reason he's fast at tracks like this and tracks like Darlington, he really attacks the racetrack. He's aggressive, but he makes good decisions when he's aggressive. But he's not afraid to get after the racetrack and use everything he can out of his truck. It can be to his detriment sometimes, especially if it comes down to a strategy race. But that's how you have to drive these trucks, Emerson. They're not like your Xfinity cars, your late models, where you kind of have to drive with a little bit higher level of finesse. and feel more about what you're burning off in your tires. These trucks, you kind of got to drive them like like a not nice person. Is the best way to say it. Drive it with a little bit of road rage intent, because that's how you get the speed out of these tracks. And he's just very good at doing that, and so naturally he's fast at these tracks. But you're right, Austin DeLong in that 22, that little half spin ain't phasing him at all.
You're right, and to add on to that, JB, right? Like these trucks of the 3 national series, in the US, the trucks have the least horsepower. They bog down the easiest. And so you have to keep your momentum up. You can't let it bog down at all. And so whoever can master not getting these trucks bogged down is going to be the fastest.
Yep. As long as you keep the right front on it and you keep your momentum up, you're going to have a good night. And that's just finding that balance of obviously putting together a good race strategy, but then at the very end of the day, just driving the crap out of it. Pretty much is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not good at it. That's not my racing style.
So Andrew Harris nearly clears by Kyle Johnson, and Austin DeLong, he is there, man. I mean, he wants a piece of this.
I don't know if you noticed, the last couple laps, if you watch Harrison's entry to the corner, he's not going right to that white line. He's driving it in kind of lower middle. You see him right here? And then he's getting to the line late. That line, he didn't even get down to the line. And he's got the right to run wherever he wants to. But it's kind of up to Kyle Johnson to avoid him, but that was a little incidental contact right there. No harm, no foul.
They're getting a little friendly.
Because it helps him carry a little bit more momentum in and keep it up through the corner. And that's why he was able to make that pass right there. And it looks like Kyle's just going to be content with maybe pushing him down there and not forcing the issue right now, as we got Cardi, the lap truck, up high going by. Right,
well, and you're right, JB. What Harris is doing, that's similar to the way I was taught by some of my teammates. Right, you don't want to. Yes, you do want to eventually get down there, but even in qualifying, you don't want to paint the white line,
right?
Because you bog it down there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
the only track that was ever a strategy that you want was Old Atlanta, because of the abrasiveness. You wanted to get to that white line, get to that paint, help that grip turn the truck, but then that's where you'd save the most tires down there. But all these other mile and a halves were just talked about momentum, Vegas, Texas, things like that. You want to just find a way to keep the truck wound up throughout the whole corner, and sometimes that's not getting right to that line, especially at a track like Vegas where you have that progressive banking to work with. Right. That's why you see the trucks too. They run that second lane at Michigan a lot. It's the same thing.
And then heaven forbid if you hit the white line, man, you're losing a lot of momentum.
Especially if you, and even worse, if you hit it in a pack of trucks, because the guy behind you thinks you just slammed on the brakes. But the fact is, you just tap the line a little bit. You get that splitter on that apron, man. You can be in a world of hurt in a hurry. So, yeah, don't necessarily want to do that either. But makes me miss a little bit of Old Atlanta, man. It was always fun to just drive the truck off in there right to the line and just stick it on there as long as you can get it to hold.
The Kevin Harvick line?
We've lost tracks like that. Yep, the Harvicking is the term
is what they call it, yep.
They made up for that, yep. And unfortunately, we've seen that go away over the years. But that's why I'm excited for tracks like Rockingham.
I would have loved to see Harvick compete at Iowa in the Cup Series, like that.
Oh yeah,
before
that was a fantastic race.
Yeah,
I mean, I love those tracks. Any tracks with a lot of character are just some of my favorites to watch. And so Rockingham will be a really cool addition this year for the Xfinity and Truck Series. I'm looking forward to that one.
Side by side here once again for the 4th position is Lane Doyle and Austin DeLong. DeLong really, he gets the wall there on entry. That's gonna hurt his momentum. And Doyle is going to get cleared past the 22, and Vickery now might have a say, and Doyle getting contacted on the rear end by the 22 of DeLong. Wants to let him know, I might have hit the wall, but I'm not gone.
You guys are practicing for Daytona already. A little bit of bump drafting down the front stretch right there. We got a lap truck. I think that's
my goodness
up there.
I did not realize the state of Godinez's truck.
Yeah, that somehow everything still goes straight on that truck, it looks like, for the most part.
Yeah,
speed-wise, he's hurting. But
that left front wheel did not look like it was going straight, but it was going straight enough.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
Well,
maybe a handful to drive, but he's still making laps, and we talk every week about how every point matters. So if you can stay out on the track, gain a couple points, it's well worth it.
And you're right, especially now, JB, right? We are now in the home stretch of the regular season. We are what, you know, ESPN would have it as race to the chase, if you will. We're in those last 5 races where you're right, every point matters, you know, when you're talking about seeding and everything. And for Godinez, actually, he doesn't have a win, so he does need every point now that I think about it.
Yeah, and we know now for sure with how many winners we've had and how many races are left, we will have drivers make it in on point.
Right.
And so, you know, for if you're 25th, you know, 24th in points, you're going to hunt a win these last 5 races. That's your only hope. But it's pretty tight up on top of that. We'll start looking at the standings pre-race every week starting next week. But it's actually pretty tight there. So if you can get 3 spots in this race and save a drop week and help yourself out a little bit, that can go a long way when we look back on it 4 weeks from now. You know, because that last week before the playoffs is not a droppable week, and those 3 spots was the difference. We see it every year, actually. It's crazy how it always comes down to 1 or 2 points, but that's just the nature of this style of racing.
There's been many a tie in SRN.
We've had ties. Yeah, we've had ties broken by whatever rule the tie's broken by. We've had.
I don't think there is many tiebreakers in. That's something to consider too.
Yeah, we've had 5 driver championships turned into 6 driver championships. We've had
been there
a little bit of everything. Yep, it happens. We've had 10 driver rounds turn into 11, and so yep, every point does make a difference. And you know we'll be talking about it, I'm sure, every week from now to the end of the season, because even through our playoff rounds, it's going to matter.
22 laps to go. James Shane Wolf has a 6/10 of a second advantage over Andrew Harris and the rest of the field. And I would just like to know now where everyone's minds are at, right? When they pitted with 42 laps to go, JB, is 42 laps enough laps on a tank? Like, is there enough gas?
Yeah, they can make it on gas that long. Tires, you know, yes, there's fall off here, but we're not talking Darlington fall off. So you can make up time on tires, but not at the cost of a pit stop. Now, if we have a caution with 10 to go or something like that, 2 tires
everyone's coming in that there's a yellow.
Yeah, but how many tires you take is up for grabs. You know, I firmly believe under 10 to go that 2 tires could be a decent move, because the degradation's not a terrible amount on the left sides, and if you're running, you know, 12th, 13th right now, you might parlay yourself into a top 4 or 5 finish, which is great. So, and you know, like we say every week, those top 5 positions pay. So if you're sitting, you know, on the backside of the top 10 or a little bit outside that,
and you start to notice right here at this point of the top 5, most of these drivers are moving up the track. And you're right, JB. Also, my former teammate Joseph Kazi, longtime SRN vet, you know, he would call it 2-tire fire, because it would be pretty fire, you know, if on green white checkered or 5 laps to go, it would work, because that's all you needed.
Yeah, all you need is a couple laps of turn. And you know, also but it's going to change the handle of your truck, so you kind of have to go in knowing that, hey, you're not going to be able to drive it in the same, but you can also choose to not fill the truck up or take gas if you want to change the balance. So there's things you can do here. I mean, we are on fixed setups, so you can't alter things like spring offset in the race, but you know, you can do things like that to kind of change your drivability. And it's helped me in the past. Now, I've also made the unfortunate mistake of not putting enough fuel in the truck because I was trying to chase a certain balance and ran out with an unfortunate amount of distance to go on the last lap. But that's the price you pay. That's the risk you pay for the chance at the big reward. And like I said, if you're a driver that's not up there in the standings right now but needs that win to make the playoffs, you're willing to try it.
Working 17 laps to go, and these drivers are all over one another. Entering the corner a couple laps ago, everyone's still finding grip everywhere. But you do notice later in these runs that, and we did see it, everyone moves up the track, and it's just the lack of grip down on the inside. Everyone still realizes it's the fastest way around for the most part, and so everyone does go down there. But not everyone is happy or comfortable down there at this point of the run. Everyone's just kind of doing it as needed. I mean, you even see there like how long Brady and Park take to get down to the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, and you're chasing that progressive banking because that just helps the truck turn over the. Because over the run, you lose the turn, you lose that front end bite, and so the best way to change that is where's there more banking? Well, here it's up the higher you go, and so just like you would at a Bristol, where you might start on the bottom, work your way up. Same thing here, just in a much larger scale, obviously. But we talk about it in the trucks, Emerson. I think every time we're at a mile track plus is if you can get to somebody's right rear quarter panel and keep your momentum up, break theirs slightly, that's the key to just blowing by people. And we saw it there just a second ago when Ben Park went around Sean Long. He got to the right rear corner panel to 84, and that was a pass that was almost as quick as the snap of your fingers.
Big run
and
here.
So, yeah, if you're really good at perfecting that move, that can be the advantage to you. But as inviting as it is, maybe for that 9 there to dive in on the 22 to the inside, he knows he can't do it because he's going to lose 2 spots trying. And so you kind of got to play that risk versus reward every time you're trying to set up a pass. Because you said, Emerson, he had a big run right there. But if he takes it to the inside, he's 10th instead of 8th.
Didn't really know where to go with it. You're right, yeah.
Yeah. And then you see the 17 here. He's trying to work to that quarter panel of the 9, the right rear quarter panel. And as much of a run, he's going to try an inside run it here, it looks like. Nope.
But you know what he's doing? He's trying to make Brady think that he's going to try to cover it off and just delay the entry enough to take advantage of it.
Yep. All you got to do is get your left front right on that right rear quarter panel, and that's the difference.
You get the driver in front of you searching, looking in the mirror, they're taking focus away from running their line.
Yep.
All of that advantage goes to you.
Just a little mistake is all it takes.
A big run, but you're right, JB. I mean, at this point, a run, it is difficult to pass in almost anything at any track at this point to run. But I mean, what do you do? But I mean, Ben's trying, but I mean, Brady's gonna have such a big advantage.
Yeah, and I think the 17's also fast enough that he's not going to pay that big cost.
Sure.
Because you can see how many times he pulls right back to the rear bumper of the 9. He's quick, and there it is right there. If he could, he's going to be close off the corner. I don't think he's quite enough. Yeah. But also the contrary factor that if you get a big enough run down the straightaway, you can clean him completely. That's an avenue you have as well. It's just a little harder on the back stretch because it's so short, but on that front D shape, you have plenty of room. You can make it happen, including using that spot there below the white line. I'm surprised he hasn't gone there yet, but this late in the run too, the truck's probably not handling great, and that transition from the track to the apron can be unsettling at times. We've seen so.
10 laps to go this time by the stripe, JB. It'll be 9 laps to go, and out in front is the 14 of James Shainwolf. And man, oh man, Shainwolf would love to get another win under his belt. And just kind of continue trekking his way up.
He's been all over it. Most of the races that he hasn't had some kind of incident. Anytime he's kept that truck clean. I think we've talked about him in the top 5 in every other race, pretty much. We saw that great battle he had at Watkins Glen up front and all that. So he's putting on a good show. And what I really like is I've been looking at the timing and scoring, and I'm looking at the difference between him and Andrew Harris as far as time delta. It's about the same. Like, he has not put Harris away yet. Harris is lurking about a half-second back, which is still just one small mistake or a couple good laps by Harris away from pulling these guys together. However, we know he can catch them, but passing them is a different story.
So, working their way around here, battle tightening up here. Lane Doyle, Jeffrey Vickery. These two, I feel like they can't get away from each other. Like every week, they're battling one another. Vickery and Doyle.
You find other drivers on the racetrack, especially in a league like this. We have so many races in a season. It's the same guys every week. You find those guys you just run alongside of every week, just because that's where you are at on pace. And you can develop some pretty nice rivalries with that. I found out over the years. But you also learn a lot about the other drivers on the track and how to run them, and maybe better strategies on how to pass them. It all goes together.
Brady has a go at DeLong here. Now to the outside. This could be huge if Brady can stay out there.
Yep. Bo Brady's kind of woken that truck up ever since Ben got to his back bumper. Austin, who, I mean, still running where he's at right now, given that giant slide he had earlier.
Oh, sideways!
His feet. Does a good job keeping him off the wall. Ben's going to have a lot of momentum here, but just really anywhere to go with it.
Oh, he sends it.
3 wide.
Trying to make it stick down there 3 wide for the 7th position. The long hold station. Brady continues up high. Ben Park trying to stick his nose down low. 5 laps to go from Sin City.
Yeah, if I were Ben here, I'd hope that 9 could pull up a little further, and I'd follow him through, because I think if he pushes him by the 22, he might be able to get there.
Oh!
Ben instead takes it bottom of 3 again. It'd be a hard angle getting into 3.
But he's got enough track to get it down there. Now DeLong has to worry about the 17 inside. Brady gets shut from behind. He goes to the bottom. Ben tries to shut the door. There'll be 3 wide across the stripe. Now 4 to go. Ben's in the middle of the sandwich.
Ooh, and the 9 comes up a little bit, and that's going to kind of really hurt Ben the most.
All of a sudden, Cunningham and Sean Long are in the middle of this.
Oh, how quickly things change.
By the way, battle for second. There, Kyle Johnson has passed Andrew Harris for second.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Shane Wolf wants, because this is pretty much going to put the race away for him. Because these guys battling it all. And it looks like they're going to continue to battle. Is going to.
Oh, slide job! Contact! Oh, they both come off the top side of the racetrack.
Oh, the 9 truck's in the wall. In the back, Bo Brady hard on the outside wall. I'm not sure what happened there. I just saw the truck up in the fence. He got pretty good right side damage on it.
Oh.
Now just trying to stay out of the way, unfortunately.
And he's gonna get off the track. He's gonna run at the pit lane. That is unfortunate. Oh, he's got heavy damage, and he's gonna stay out.
He's got 2 laps out. He might as well try to make a couple more circuits. I don't think he's gonna be in the way. Connor's taking advantage of that whole situation back there.
Trying to get around the long. Ben Park gets to 7th out of all that mess. JB, what a chaotic end to this long.
Like I said on that last restart, Emerson, we were just going to settle in for a good run here. And just because it's a good long run doesn't mean there's a shortage of action.
Absolutely not. And you know what, JB? This one isn't over. Kyle Johnson has closed within 0.2 of a second on the final lap here at Las Vegas. This battle for the win is not over yet. Does Kyle Johnson have one last 2-run to turn 3? James Shane Wolf trying to hold steady. Big run for the 48. They make contact. Side by side now in a turn 4. Johnson trying to get by, and Johnson in the wall. James Shane Wolf will get his 2nd win on the season. Tonight it's in Las Vegas.
What a finish. A Speed Racing Network classic once again. I lied when I said I thought this was over. Man, the 48 got by the 87, I guess, and was all in the mail, and he got to the door of the 14,
must have really saved tires, Shay, because he was moving.
But that, Emerson, that's all you can ask for. Good, tough racing, a little bit of contact there, but hey, both those drivers finished the race in the top 3. Great battle. You know, as much as the 48 could have taken the 14 out there, he chose not to. That's just good sportsmanship, good integrity. And Shane Wolf, who ran as good as you can that last run, deserved this one tonight, and he's the one that came home with it.
My, oh my. That was something else.
Seems like we keep running into these kind of finishes around here, which is just kind of the Speed Racing Network product we see every week.
You're right. Kyle Johnson did finish on the podium. I hope he sticks around to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like if he was using some kind of strategy there to, because like I said, when he was battling with Andrew, I thought that was going to be kind of it. But man, he got there in a hurry.
And James Shane Wolf burns it down here on the front straightaway at Las Vegas. Deservedly so. getting his second win on the season, and my goodness, that was quite the run there to the end. Ever since he took the lead from the pit cycle on lap 25, James Shane Wolf never looked back until the final lap. James, oh my goodness, what was going through your mind?
Just hit my marks. I really babied that last corner being on worn out tires. I knew if I could keep him pinned down there that there wasn't going to be much he could do other than wreck me. And thankfully he didn't. So
Well, James, this is your second win on the season, and this one again, another pretty dominant showing for you. Pretty much ever since you took the lead away on that lap 25 caution, no one really took it back from you. What was it like out there? What was it about this track that kind of just suited your style?
I don't know. I've always been really good at Vegas. I don't know what it is about Vegas that I'm really good at, but um, you got to be really consistent. You got to save the right front, and usually I suck at that. But for some reason here, I'm pretty decent at it. Also, I got to apologize to Dalton McKinney there. I don't know if that was net code or I know we made a little bit of contact when I was coming up there, up through the field there, and got him sideways. So I hope that's not the reason why he finished where he did. But that's kind of how it goes. You have one little incident and it just goes downhill from there. So I apologize to Dalton. Um, but yeah, no, I really don't know. Vegas has always been a really good track for me. I don't know what it is about Vegas that's good. That kind of suits me, but I'm happy it does.
Well, there you go, James. So I mean, this win obviously puts you in the thick of the seeding battle at the top of the playoff standings. You were already fourth coming into today's race, or I'm sorry, fifth in the overall points. You're really in the thick of it now, competing for a potential regular season championship. What's going into that planning there, or is there much thought of it there? Or are you just kind of setting your eyes forward into the playoffs? Now you're just kind of essentially making sure that lock doesn't get unlocked here in these final four races.
um, honestly, man, even the way I look at points is the way I looked at it back when I raced in real life. You have good finishes, the points take care of themselves. So I really haven't been paying too much attention to the points. Just been doing my best to click off top fives and top 10 finishes and win when I can. And like I said, you do that, the points will handle themselves. So there's not a whole lot to worry about there. Um, I've just been focusing really hard on getting these consistent top tens, top fives, and clicking them off when I can, and trying to stay out of trouble.
Coming up next, James, is the Milwaukee Mile. Very, very intriguing track. Doesn't get a lot of love, really at all. But really doesn't get a lot of love here on the service. What do you say about the Milwaukee Mile? What do you think about your chances?
I'm looking forward to it. I like them. I like it. Call it a short track. It's not, but it is. With it being a mile, but it's flat. You carry a lot of speed into the corner, so you really got to wear the truck down. I'm looking forward to it. I really like Milwaukee. Um, I'm glad I got my EOL here instead of there. That's for sure. I don't think I'd be able to come from dead last to the win up there. So glad we were able to do that tonight as well. That was motivation in itself. Getting that EOL at the beginning of this race to come back and steal one.
Well, congratulations, James Shane Wolf, on your second win on the season. A little bit of a thrilling finish. What didn't seem like was going to come to be there. But nonetheless, James, you hold off the late race charge from Kyle Johnson to secure your second win on the season. Congratulations. Best of luck to you next time out at Milwaukee.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Real quick, can I plug some sponsors?
Absolutely.
Big shout out to Alex at Alex's Save You Time there in South Hill, Virginia. Adam Caps at Elite Entertainment for all he does for me. John at Nifty Lift. Brian at Easler Electric. Drew at Transcendent Designs. My old lady for watching. Everybody behind the scenes here at SRN. Nobody really knows how much goes into making it work except for the people that are within the league and all the crap that y'all got to deal with. So shout out to y'all, man. Y'all do it, and y'all do it because you love it, and it's appreciated.
Absolutely, James. And Once again, congratulations then on your second win on the season, and best of luck to you next week in Milwaukee and the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir. See you then.
And that was our race winner tonight here from Las Vegas, James Shane Wolf. And you see there a slow mo replay of the last lap contact. We'll now get a word in now with our second place finisher. And JB, you got something for Andrew Harris?
I do. Mr. Andrew Harris, thanks for joining us here in the booth. Congrats on your second place finish tonight. Going into that last corner, I know you had a good view of what was happening in front of you. Did you think for a second that those guys might take themselves out and then you'd be the one victorious?
Absolutely. I was holding my breath. I was like, come on, do it. You know you want to. You know you want to, Tyler Reddick.
Or Austin Dillon style, I guess.
Oh,
would
sorry.
be
Yeah,
another way you
Austin
could put
Dillon.
it.
Yeah, not Tyler Reddick. No, my bad. My bad,
Um,
Tyler.
So, you had a good race at Darlington. Unfortunately, you didn't come home with the win, but solid run tonight. Same thing. Really solid run. Didn't win, but another podium finish on the season. You're sitting real nice in points at this point. What's your outlook over the next couple races in the season? And are you already points racing? Was that kind of your thought tonight? I mean, I know you got that win under your belt, so you're locked in. But how are you going about approaching the next few races?
Yeah, absolutely. I just looked at the schedule. The next 3 races are really not my forte. So I'm glad I'm kind of cranking out these, my two second places in a row, and I got my win out of the way. So just gonna kind of roll into these next couple ones. Not really high expectations for these. Just try to stay in the top 10, and like you said, points racing. Just trying to make something out of this season before we go to the playoffs.
Yeah, and the seeding in the playoffs makes a slight difference because you do carry bonus points in that first round, which can always be beneficial because you never know what might end up happening. Um, but the best opportunity you have now as somebody that's already won a race is just to go to try to win a couple more before we get there. And so, obviously, you said the next couple tracks maybe not your forte, but looking even further, I know that you attack these mile and a halves pretty aggressively, and you got a lot of them in the playoffs. So are you already thinking about practicing some of those tracks and going ahead and look at what's in that playoff schedule?
Oh, absolutely. Kentucky, go like before the playoffs, then Chicagoland. Atlanta is kind of a toss up, but Kentucky was where I almost got my first win. Teammate actually wrecked me on my first almost win in season 1, so that was pretty crazy. But I like Kentucky, Chicagoland, Dover, all really good tracks for me. So hopefully going to the playoffs, I go in strong and just kind of keep this momentum up.
Sounds good, man. Well, congrats on your second runner-up finish. Another good points day. I know we'll be talking to you in the winner circle again pretty soon, but before we send you back to your team, I know you have some things to thank those guys for and some of those sponsors on your truck tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to thank the Park Bros for bringing me on for this season. Awesome teammates all the time. Uh, Michael Steele for putting this awesome paint scheme, and you guys for putting the show on.
Well, Andrew, congratulations then on your second place finish tonight, and best luck to you at the Milwaukee Mile and the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Talk next time.
That was driver of the number 87, Andrew Harris. We'll now bring on our third place finisher, but it was a valiant effort in the way to that third place finish tonight. Kyle Johnson. Kyle, where did you get that late race boost of speed? Was that just saving tire?
Yeah, man, the restart before, or the run before, I should say, where I was battling for the lead for like 8, 10 laps. I just wanted to make a little bit of a show, not make it too boring. And when I did that, my tires were I was struggling a little bit. I dropped to like third on that long run, and I really noticed it. So on that final run there, I was literally burping the throttle from lap 1 on entry. So that was my goal, just save as much as I could and just see how it played out. Obviously if the caution came, I was going to get aggressive, pit and then get aggressive, but I was hoping for that long run. And, maybe a few laps earlier, if I got into second, I might have had something for him, but I'll tell you, it was pretty fun. And I didn't want to, I apologize to him. I didn't want to, I wanted to make a good show at the end, but I didn't want to wreck him at the same time. That's kind of why, I doored him a couple times, but pulled off him, kind of overcorrected a little bit. I just didn't want to wreck him was the main goal. I was just trying to get him lose a little momentum. But tell you what, that was a lot of fun.
That was a valiant effort there coming to the checkers. Kyle, you still come away with a podium finish and a great, I guess another good points finish here. You got 4 races left here in the regular season. Of course, you have yourself the win. Oh, my apologies. You're down 13th in points, but a lot of time or the last 4 races to really make that up. What's the game plan here to really set yourself up for a playoff run?
Yeah, I missed like the last couple, and like I was running 5th at one of the road courses, and my headset died, so I ended up just backing out. But and then I missed like 1 or 2 after. So it was like as far as the points, I've tried to make as many as I could, but I haven't sweated it because I knew I had to win. But I'm planning on, making it. I show up and I just want to win every week is a plan, and then when the playoffs hit, I'll just really be focused on finishing races, putting consistency together. That's about it.
Well, Kyle, congratulations on the 3rd place finish tonight. Thank you for the show there on the final lap. I imagine you're still wanting for another win or 2 before you get going here into the playoffs. So best of luck to you here in Milwaukee coming up and last a little stretch here before the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys putting on the show and everything. And my teammates, we had 4 of us out there today, and they had some good runs going. And unfortunately, stuff happened at the end, but at least I was able to get away with a podium and have a good race that I can remember for sure.
Absolutely. And so that is our 3rd place finisher, driver of the number 48 JB, and quite quite the run there to the checkers. Really, I guess up and down the running order. Let's just see how everyone did come to the checkered flag there. James Shane Wolf with the victory over Andrew Harris. Kyle Johnson finishing 3rd, and what's going on here in the background of the results is the result of him finishing 3rd. Lane Doyle finishes 4th. Jeffrey Vickery rounds out the top 5. Kyle Spees 6th. Ben Park emerges from that very physical battle for 7th. Connor Cunningham escapes with an 8th place finish after getting the pole and leading the first 25 laps today. Austin DeLong will finish 9th. Sean Long will come home with a top 10 finish. It's Sean Merriman 11th. Daniel Park 12th. Sean Corcoran 13th. Chris Luttrell 14th. And Michael Sidor 15th. Last truck on the lead lap. My bad, JB. What we got going on 16th on down?
Doria comes home in 16th, making his first start of the season for the Brady bunch. Dylan Godinez 17th. We saw that wounded truck making its way around the racetrack. Bro Brady, who we saw fight there and get the outside wall, 18th. Drake Carty 19th. Wally Babb 20th. And then from there back, it's trucks that were multiple laps down, including drivers who failed to finish this race. That includes Joe Ruggles in 21st, David Flanagan, last race's winner, in 22nd, Jason Green 23rd, Dalton McKinney 24th, Spencer Brown 25th, Shane Ledoux 26th, Sean Woodside 27th, Jason Kratke 28th, Scott Claw 29th, Corey Stahl 30th, and Matthew Greathouse 31st. We haven't talked much about the team points this year, Emerson, because we've been having such incredible shows on the racetrack. Starting next week, also, in those driver finishing results, we'll have their correct teams listed because we're going to start talking about that more as the time goes. But currently, Park Brothers Racing leads the team points over DG Motorsports and the Rollo Tonys. That's your top 3, followed by Lucky Dog in 4th, Out Front in 5th, Threat Level Midnight 6th. The Independents are in 7th, and the Brady Bunch is in 8th. So there is, prize money involved in the team championship, and so as that continues to develop, we'll relay that information as well. But we've just had such good racing on track, we haven't really focused on that yet.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we're getting down to crunch time, and we will be, very privy to all that, and it'll, of course, make it on to here. But as far as tonight, that would do it. But we couldn't do it without the help of all of our partners here at Speed Racing Network. Of course, a shout out to, of course, the series namesake of HairClub. Take control of your hair loss at HairClub. Their total hair solutions can help you keep, regrow, or restore your hair. And speak with a hair loss specialist today, and you can use code SRN10 to save 10% off of your HairClub order. Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing, established in 2016. They offer many different options to help take your sim racing career to the highest levels of iRacing. With over 50,000 customers worldwide, they have got the tools you need to compete with the best sim racers iRacing has to offer. And make sure you use code SPEEDNETWORK15 to save 15% off of your Premier Racing Setups order. And a shout out, of course, to Abinbox, Thermo Pro, Top Coat, and Better Boat for also joining us along for the journey here at SRN. And JB, any final remarks here before we leave Sin City in the dust?
I know I didn't get to see a vast majority of the first part of that race, but really impressed with the racecraft our drivers showed at the last half of that race, and I'm hoping that's kind of the momentum we carry, into the Milwaukee, which is a fantastic racetrack. Like Shane Wolf said, it's kind of considered a short track on the sim, even though it's not. It's a mile track, but kind of has that raceability as a short track. But this last couple weeks we have leading up to the playoffs with Milwaukee, Gateway, IRP, and Kentucky, you're talking 4 completely different racetracks, different levels of tire degradation, different strategy options, definitely different race lengths. The IRP race being quite a bit longer than tonight's was, so all that's going to be interesting. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm really looking forward to what those couple races have to hold. I know everybody probably came up after a couple weeks off a little amped up to start this one, and we had a couple early incidents, but the back half of that race was really enjoyable to watch, and we were gifted another classic SRN finish this evening.
Absolutely. And well, that puts the first 2025 race in the books for us here at SRN. And that'll do it for us here from Las Vegas. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Make sure you join us next Tuesday night as the HairClub trucks trudge on into the second half of their season, starting with the Milwaukee Mile, race number 13 of 24, next Tuesday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And from all of us here at Speed Racing Network, Jonathan Byer and myself, Emerson Arden, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you then.